Hello Internet. This video is just to show how easy it is to get started with polr using Docker, using the changes I've made, and hopefully will get merged in. So just go to my version of polr, and then go to the clone or download, and then set up a server with Docker installed, and then all you got. Oh no, sorry. Clear polr.programster.org. This is not a live server, you won't be able to access it from the internet, it's just internal. So I've got Docker installed. So all I gotta do is clone the repository, which doesn't take too long. And then, let's do this. And then you see a folder called polr, and then because it's in a branch right now, we have to switch to that git checkout Docker. And then now in this branch, there is now a folder called Docker, which has all the stuff necessary for Docker. All you gotta do, you don't have to know anything about the tool, you don't have to know anything about polr or anything, just run the build script. So usually, yeah, just press yes. If you have any problems during a build, press N for no, and that might fix your problem. But using cached builds, on your first build, there's nothing cached, so it'll go this slow. But in future, if you were to do an update and you wanted to rebuild the container, just press Y and it'll go a lot faster. Yeah, you do have to wait a bit as it's setting everything up. Maybe in the future that this will be used to create an official Docker image so that people can just pull the built image and run from there. This should work with that. You just wouldn't have to run the build script. You would just there's another script called deploy. I'll show you that while we're waiting. Right there. But let's just watch the build. This is the other thing. I didn't want users to have to know about Composer. I didn't want users to have to know about anything. So since the packages are not bundled with the repository, my Docker container goes ahead and installs Composer inside the container and runs a Composer install. Normally when I build my own projects, I bundle the vendor with the releases, but I can understand people not wanting to do that, especially with potential licensing issues. Yeah, I don't do it in the master repository anyways, so only the releases, of which I see there's only tags here. So there's no usually if you like create a new release, it'll be a big release button here, and then you can go to the latest release with a link like /latest or something, which is super useful for users, potentially worth considering. Yep, there are a lot of packages, 90 to be precise, for a URL shortener. But yep, use of packages is good. Let's do that. You don't have to do this once. This is where you go make a cup of tea. Of course, this would be a lot faster if you have already done a Composer install. So bear that in mind. Alright, cool. So that's built. You will now see there is a polr latest here, because I haven't set up a registry or anything. That can be, my pull request can be easily edited, so you have a registry specified. But all I gotta do, like I could run docker run blah 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 blah, but I don't expect users to know what they want to do, especially with the fact that we want to store state. So just run the deploy script, and that takes care of everything for you. That does a lot of little things, but so there is now a folder called polr data in your home directory, which will not be owned by you anymore. It's owned by the root user of the container and stuff, but I'm pretty sure you can. If we just do this, oh, no, see polr data, and then you'll see that there's your environment variables and your storage with all the stuff. Now all you gotta do is you go to polr.programster.org, or well, your server's host name or IP, and then this is the trick. You can't use localhost anymore. I've installed a MySQL 5.5 database on this server. MySQL, yep, and then database. I've set up a polr user. I've already, oh yeah, it's just to prove I haven't done anything special. I'm gonna drop create database polr, drop database polr, create database polr. I've already set up permissions on that for the polr user. I haven't set up HTTPS, so this would be polr.programster.org in this case. I like advanced. Only logged in users for me. Okay, cool. A lot of settings here. A lot of settings. I quite like root. I'm bothered with this. Nearly done. Alright, and then you just hit install. Fingers crossed. Yep, looks like it's going through. Just take a bit. There we go. Okay, cool. So, yeah. Just log in. And you can see everything works. Play it for yourself. Yeah, Nelly said play with yourself, didn't mean to say that. No, I just did. That's that. And now the important part is that the state is kept. So you don't have to worry about if your container dies or anything like that, or reboot the server. So I'm gonna docker kill polr. Oh no, sorry, docker ps. I've called it polr container. Docker kill polr container. Docker rm polr container. And then the site's not there anymore. I couldn't, and then you can just, all the data should be there. So if I just go to polr and I go to docker, and I run the deploy script again, everything will be there again. I don't have to run the setup again. All your links will still be working. Yeah, so hopefully that makes it a lot easier to deploy polr for people who don't know anything about PHP or databases. Well, they'll still need to set up a database, but yeah. All right, cool. Over and out.